SoundCloud. Okay. Yeah, and just again, there's a lot of I think potential new people on the call today that you don't really even know me or my background, etc. So I'm going to keep it relatively brief because I want to get into the topic I had prepared for you guys. But I guess long story short, and I'll be talking about some things in my life today. But I started doing sales when I was 23 years old. I was right out of college. For me that know this, I went to Penn State. I was a student athlete there and played Division I soccer for Penn State. And when I finished school, I didn't really have a lot of options. My career fair day was September 11th. When that craziness happened, and I thinking about posting something about that because that day was such a crazy day for me, and really obviously for the world. It really wasn't about me. But that was the day I was supposed to find a job coming out of college. And after my parents had always told me, go to a good school, get a good degree, and then you'll have choices, where to work and who to work for, etc. And that wasn't the case. Majority of companies were on hiring freezes. Most people said things like, get 2 years of experience and then we'll look at your resume. And I was like, how am I supposed to get experience if you're not willing to offer it, kind of thing. And it was just really hard. And I felt like, the world was against me. I felt like, the timing and certain things were just, in my way. And I'll tell you, I was really frustrated about it. And then I started to change my mindset and realize that, listen, life happens to everybody. And I got to start getting aggressive. And I started sending my resume out in line. And I came across one of our offices, a guy named Michael Sessions is running the office. He was 27 years old and he was just hiring people to do sales, outside sales. And I needed to learn sales, being in business and being marketing. And then, over the course of time, a year later, he taught me the fundamentals of our model, the training and developing and coaching people. He actually gave me the seed money to start my company. And 18 years later, I've taught, a lot of you guys that are owners on the call and partners in the business. And, today we have 30 locations across the US and over the next 2 to 3 years, we'll probably expand to 80, 90 locations across the country. And so I've learned a lot through this time. And, I'll tell you, although we've had a lot of success, I've also gotten my ass handed to me a lot. Not just in our business, but in life. For those of you guys that know me really well, that I lost my parents to cancer about 7 years ago in a matter of 3 months. And, there was a really hard time and I was depressed and I was upset. And, my world was falling apart and I decided to pick myself up off the ground and get back to work and live for the future and live for the family that my wife and I were creating and our boys. And we've grown and evolved. And although I would do anything to see them and to hang out with them, I know life happens for a reason. And I'm going to go into some of the things I've learned over that period of time. So this meeting, like I said, it's going to be a little bit about our business, but mostly about life and how to have a great life and how to get the most out of your life. It'll be weekly. I'd encourage you, if you find value in this, to invite your I don't know, if you want to have your friends on, if you want to have your coworkers on, your teammates on that you're coaching and developing. This is really for you guys. I've made a big decision in the last 2-3 weeks to level up my life and add more positive influence in the world, and not just in our business. I feel like I have a lot to offer, and I know that I'm here for a reason. I know that I'm here to make a positive impact on people. And I hope you guys, gain a lot of confidence in me putting myself out there, because I've been thinking of doing this kind of stuff for a lot of years. And I've been, frankly, kind of a wuss about it and nervous about how people may judge me and people may try to bring me down or whatever. And I just decided to say, fuck it. Like I have a lot to offer and I'm going to do it. And it's going to be a good thing. And listen, some people may not like what I do or what I say and whatever, and that's cool too. But I think for the masses, it'll be a huge positive. All right, so today, guys, I'm going to talk about a high performance lifestyle. So how to have a high performance lifestyle. So the first thing is, to understand how to have a high performance lifestyle. First, we got to know the difference between facts and opinions. And so there's two very different worlds that we have in our mind. And understanding those worlds and having awareness around them is going to help you in what you do. So just give you an example. A fact is independent of any beliefs, and it's the reality of the world. It's a fact. So the fact is Peter, I see on my screen, is wearing a blue jacket. That's a fact, right? It's blue, it's a jacket, he's wearing it. That's a fact. Compared to an opinion, and an opinion is a belief or a view of something based on your world, based on your atmosphere, based on your upbringing, based on social conditioning, right? An opinion could be, Ronaldo is a better soccer player than Messi. That's just an opinion. Some people may think that is fact, whatever, right? But facts are certain things that people believe, there's actual evidence to prove that it is a certain way, right? And so one of the things about having a high performance lifestyle and having a high performance life is really figuring out where you're starting from, right? So how your world and how you think based on your family, based on your friends, based on your significant other, based on just, again, social conditioning, the schooling you have, the actual education, the sports background. It's like figuring all that out and figuring out what things are actually true and what things are not true. So give an example. There's times personally I've had to meet with someone and coach them, right? So if I get double booked, which I'm not perfect, that happens sometimes, and I go to meet with one, I tell one person, I apologize, I'm not gonna be able to meet with you, I gotta move our time. Well, that person could have an opinion that I move the time because I don't believe in them. That the information that I'm going to give them is not worth my time to give them, and it's more important to do something else at that moment. When the facts could be, there's an urgent client issue that I have to address that's going to affect 500 people, and it has nothing to do with that individual. So their opinion or their belief in why I made that decision, they could then not meet with me for 2, 3, 4 weeks and think that the facts say I didn't meet with them because I didn't like them, I didn't want to build their confidence or whatever, right? And so it's interesting how our beliefs, actually we start thinking so much about them that they become a fact in our mind, right? So I'll tell you, in my world, I was raised by a Hispanic mother, Colombian. She was 18, 19 years old when she came to the US. My brother and I are first born in the US. And so in my world, in my beliefs, my mom, and I think she was the one that had the most influence on me because she was the most passionate and the most direct as a child. And it really shaped my beliefs. So she said things to me a lot as a child. I can see it now as 10 or 12 years old, being a kid and having the trash can in the corner, and I'd take a little piece of paper, instead of walking over and drop it in the trash, I'd shoot from 5 feet away, and I'd miss. And then my mom would say, honey, remember, the lazy work twice. And I'm like, whatever, Mom. And I'd go over and pick it up and throw it away. And then I'd get a bad grade in school, and she knew I didn't study hard enough. And she'd say, honey, remember, the lazy work twice. And so when I think of my work ethic and I think of now my beliefs, I truly believe the lazy work twice, and that lazy people don't deserve success. So that's why when I found out our business and kind of what I do every day is based on work ethic and attitude, it was such a positive for me getting involved, because I was, again, my beliefs are the lazy work twice, right? Another thing my mom used to say to me, and just not to get, too personal, but I'm going to be vulnerable. So apparently when my mom was pregnant with me, she got really, really sick. Like really sick, that they didn't think she was going to make it. They didn't think that I was going to make it. And so like a really tough pregnancy. And so when I was born and everything was okay, and I'm probably a little crazy from it, who knows, but like everything turned out to be somewhat okay. My mom always said to me as I grew up, "You're here for a reason, honey. You're here for a reason." And I used to think I was going to be a professional soccer player. I think it was to be in my athletics, because I had a decent athletic career. And I got a lot of, I got a scholarship to play it in college, in a college that cost 20, 30 grand. And I got majority of that paid for because of my athletics. Right. And she said that when I got my scholarship. And that was a huge positive for my family, because my parents weren't wealthy by any means. And it was really the only reason I went to Penn State is because I got a soccer scholarship. Right. But she said things like, "You're here for a reason." And I now am starting to realize, like, the reason I believe that I'm on this planet is to have a positive influence on the next generation. That because I never quit when I probably should have, and I believed in myself, and I pulled myself up after going through that stuff with my family, and I kept my head down, and I just started believing, like, there's a reason why I'm doing this. And I'm starting to realize now that it's to make a positive impact and to inspire other people. And, I'll tell you, I read some in a book recently. It said, instead of trying to inspire people, be inspired. And so doing stuff like this is me being inspired. I'm inspired to tell you guys these stories. I'm inspired to give you information and knowledge to help you have a good life. And the other thing my mom used to tell me was, you get what you deserve. You get what you deserve. So if you walk around on a daily basis in sports, and again in schooling or whatever, and you have a bad attitude, well, guess what? You're going to get a lot of shit thrown your way. The trash man, right? If you walk around a lot of trash and you give people trash, you get trash in return. You walk around and you're nice to people and you treat people kindly and you say, "Thank you so much." You see somebody working in a restaurant and you're treating them kindly and they're working their tail off, and maybe your food's messed up. You don't freaking lose your mind on them. You just say, "You know what? No worries. Thank you so much. I know it's a tough time. You're just trying to make a living. I appreciate you." And you do good things like that for people, and you have good karma, you're going to get good karma back. And then rightfully so. If you give people shit and you're, like I said, you have a bad attitude, then you get shit back. And because you get what you deserve. And, and I'll tell you, those things like really shaped me. Now, some of those things over time have really hurt me, right? Because I work so hard, I like overwork, and I in my 20s and even in my 30s, I've worked so hard that sometimes I don't take a day for me. I had to learn how to turn off the engine of my car, which is me, to be at my best. I had to learn that, hey, I have to go to bed earlier because now my boys, today as an example, climbed in my bed at 5:15 in the morning, and Brady's going, like he's trying to honk a loogie or something in my ear. And I'm like, "Get out of my bed." I'm like, "Brady, if you do that again, I'm kicking you out." You know what I mean? But it was 5:15 in the morning. So the idea of going to bed at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. doesn't work anymore, right? And I started to realize in my 20s again, and even in my 30s, that when my days started being more important to me than my nights, then I started moving towards being more successful, more financially successful. And don't get me wrong, I have a good time. You know, when we go away on some of our trips we do as an organization, as a company, I go out like the best of them, have a good time. But it's because we're all together and having fun. Like we do that for sure. But I don't do it on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night or on a Thursday night anymore, when I have stuff I have to do. I have goals I got people I'm responsible for, and I got things I want to accomplish. It's all strategic. It's all organized. It's all planned. All right. So the first point today, guys, on the high performance lifestyle is, number one, is you got to kind of get an idea of what's already in your head and think about things that actually help you to reach your goals. Because if there's things in here that are not helping you reach your goals, you have to get rid of them. You have to consciously, stop thinking about things that are not helping you and start putting things in your mind and start thinking about things that are going to help you. So a simple thing that I do, and I've taught myself over time, is I ask myself, with what I'm thinking right now, does it serve me? Does it serve me to be thinking this way? So in other words, does it serve me to be thinking negative about that individual? No, it doesn't serve me. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They're working hard. They're trying to get better. They're not purposely, trying to not do things, right? So to think the positive. Cool? So with all that being said, there's a saying in business, is that you are where you should be. And that's really humbling sometimes. It's been very, very humbling for me. But you are exactly where you should be. If that means it's not positive, okay, cool. Let's just get better and improve that. If you're moving towards where you want to be and you're in a great spot in your life right now, fantastic. Keep it positively moving forward. But you are where you should be. And that's hard for some. But when you get all this together, you have to make a decision that you want something better. So the first step of having a high performance lifestyle is knowing where you're coming from, knowing what's in the mind, having more awareness around it, and then making a decision, a conscious decision, that you want something better, you want something more. And once you decide that decision, then all of a sudden there's going to be lots of things that are going to come towards you that will help you move towards your goals. So example, again, everyone uses the health example. If you decide to get healthy, then your habits will change. If you decide this year that, by the end of the year, I'm going to, lose weight or whatever. Again, everyone uses this analogy, but if you make the decision, it's very interesting how there's going to be people and opportunities to continue that.
This code isn't working.
All right. Okay, sorry about that. I think Dane wasn't on mute there. So, all right, guys. So guys, I want to play a little video. I'm going to pause the recording because this isn't my video. It's a video. Zoom recording here. And so, we got a lot of incredible people that are in our business. And so Renardo's points that he made, in our business, and it's not like some companies where just because your parents own the business or someone in a certain role, what you get again is what you earn. It's not going to be handed to you. And so when I again think about all the things that my mom said to me growing up, it really aligns with what my values are, and I believe with a lot of your values. So that's the first point. You got to think about the world you grew up in and where you want to go with what's inside your head. All right. So point number 2, high performance lifestyle. You got to create the OODA. 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 What does OODA stand for? So OODA is observe, decide, and act. So observe, orient, decide, and act. So this has to do with a little bit what I talked about, just kind of observing, thinking about, having awareness around things you want, things that are inside of your brain and things that you want to have in there. And then get yourself kind of, oriented with what's possible, and then start making decisions. So when you start making decisions, you start speeding up the opportunities you have. The idea is fail forward, fail fast, fail often. I believe in pulling the trigger when you're at about 80% of something and getting moving. I can tell you, my recruiters hate this. The people behind the scenes that work with me hate that, because I'm always pulling the trigger fast. But I just believe that if you're 80% right on 5 different things, you're going to be farther along than being 95% right on one thing. Right? So in the world that we're in, the ever-changing world of business, with what's going on with COVID and other things, we have to make decisions, and quick decisions, and embrace those decisions. They're not always going to be right. And learn from those decisions. But the key is, if you're in a leadership role, and again, if you're like me and you have a family, you have to communicate. You have to over communicate. And I think that's the challenge I had in my 20s, was I didn't realize that when I didn't communicate with people, people were left in the dark, and then they questioned my integrity. They questioned what I stood for. And it wasn't because I had any ill will or any negative intent. I just frankly didn't realize that communication is huge, especially if you want to be in business, if you want to have responsibility, right? So I can tell you, in my office, as an example, when I think of just our business and my business, what I do is I'm completely transparent, right? So when it comes to the sales and what we do every day, every Sunday morning, we put the numbers in front of everybody, of everyone's performance. And it's just transparent. Now, I know that way of running a business is not exciting for everybody, right? I know people that would rather hide, would rather work in a business that is not as transparent, so they can kind of sneak around and do their thing and not have that accountability. And that is totally cool. And we find that out in the first 30 days, typically, when I hire people. Most of the people we hire, majority, like an overwhelming majority, almost 95%, are freaking excited about that. And they're like, okay, so I'm going to be measured on my performance. I'm going to be measured on what I bring to the table on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't matter where I went to school. It doesn't matter my background. It doesn't matter where, to Renato's point, how I was raised, rich or not rich or whatever. Like, it just matters what I do every day. And so point number 2 is, you got to create the OODA. Observe, orient it, and make decisions. Take action, right? And what that means, if you're in obviously depending on your life and what you're doing in business, but just remember that as you make decisions, you have to over communicate. All right, point number 3 in high performance life is have an accountability partner. Have an accountability partner. My number 1 accountability partner is my wife. She keeps me straight. That's why I always tell people, the most important decision you will make in your life, for anyone that ever listens, is the person you marry, if you choose to go down that route. And I'll tell you, there's some people that come in our business that, in their 20s, they start to realize that they may not have made a great decision, because they start believing more in themselves, start building their confidence and moving towards their dreams, start realizing they got to live their own life. And then there's some people like me that, start in the business and get working and start realizing what I want. And then I waited until my 30s to get married. And, I frankly feel like I landed the jackpot for me, right? And so, but when you have the right partner, the right accountability partner, the right friends, the right family, when you share your goals with them, they're going to do one thing. They're going to build you to reach them if they are the right person for you in your life. They're not going to pull you down. They're not going to slow you down. They're not going to talk negative about what you want to accomplish. They're going to give you reasons why you should do it. Now, I can tell you that didn't happen to me. So the group of friends I had when I was starting in my 20s in business, they were the ones that were like, yeah, right. Sure, you're going to build $1 million business. Sure, you're going to whatever. Don't go. You got to work this weekend, or you got to come to happy hour. They're always trying to pull me away from things that were going to help me reach my goals. Frankly, I don't hang out with those people anymore. I'm really not even friends with them anymore. Because my goals and where I was going, the circle of influence I had in my life in my 20s was changing as I was becoming more and more successful. So having an accountability partner is huge. Having the right accountability partner is better. Number 4, you got to learn how to drive your subconscious mind. Mentality of winning. And you got to do things daily to build your mind and build the strength of your mind to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So I'll give you an example. For well-being, for just, being happy. Some things that, I've learned to say to myself, because just so you know, the most powerful conversation you can have in your life is the one you have with yourself. I'm going to say that again. The most powerful conversation you can have is the one you have with yourself. So what I've learned to start saying to myself is, why am I always learning and growing? I'm learning and growing so much right now. Because I want my mind to grow. I want to subconsciously trick my mind into I'm learning and growing. Another thing I say to myself, why do I have such a sexy, ripped body? Some of you guys are laughing. I say that shit to myself. And the reason I say it, it makes me feel great and it pushes me to go to the gym more. And when I think of income, I say things like, why is my income continue to grow year over year? How is it possible I run a business that does 20 million a year in revenue? And I started from scratch. Like, I literally say these things to myself because what I'm doing is it's building my confidence. It's building, my mojo. That the idea is just creating more abundance in your life. And I also say things like, why do I have such a thrilling and exciting sex life? I love my wife. I say things like, I married up because I know I did. Grateful for her. Right? And those of you guys that know her know I totally did. So it's not like it's unknown. Right? But again, these are things I'm tricking my subconscious mind in creating more positive, more good karma coming my way with the things I say to myself. So point number 4 is learning how to drive your mentality and drive your subconscious mind. And then lastly, to have a high performance lifestyle and life in general is learning about progress over perfection. So there's so many people that want to be perfect. Like they're looking for the perfect situation, the perfect relationship, the perfect everything, perfect body, all this kind of stuff. And just so you know, the definition of perfection is free of defects and flawless. So I don't mean to ruin it for you guys, but that doesn't exist. It just simply does not exist. So I'd encourage you to, instead of trying to be so perfect, focus on progress. Focus on progress. And progress is simply moving forward towards your goals. And the neat thing is when you get really good at focusing on progress, it helps you with your happiness and just feeling better daily. Because you learn how to celebrate daily. You learn how to, feel good daily. You learn how to be kind to yourself daily. But you're taking steps towards what you want to accomplish. And the most powerful thing, in my opinion, that you can say beyond the things I've covered today is things like, I can, I will, I am worthy, I can, I will. And again, those of you guys that know me really well, in my house, I have brainwashed my kids to never say the word can't. Like they literally say, if they, trying to reach for the cereal and it's too high and Mason's little, he can't reach. And he goes, I can't grab the cereal. And then Brady will jump in real quick and say, Mason, we don't say that. Not in our family. The saying is, I can do it, but I need a little help. Because you can do it. Sometimes you just need a little help, like a chair to grab the cereal, right? So progress over perfection. So listen, guys, I appreciate you guys getting on today. Again, if you find value in this, you find value in this, 45 minutes we spent together, share it with people, let them know. This is going to be on the same link every week. And I'm more than happy to, again, share my knowledge and do things for not just us in our business, but anyone really that wants to jump on. I will tell you, a high performance lifestyle, though, as our topic today, is not for everyone. So don't think for a second that everyone that you're around, all your friends, family, significant others, or whatever, they want this type of lifestyle where you have it all. And frankly, in my opinion, I feel only a few people in the world have the discipline to have everything. To have the values, to know how to treat people, when they have the financial strength to know what to do with it and save, right? We see it all the time in the world of sports and news and whatever. People get a lot of money and then they waste it. It's unfortunate. But just to give you a little something about finances, 20% of American households today make over 6 figures. So that's a household, that's 2 dual incomes. 3% of American households make over 200,000 a year. And 1% make over $500,000 a year. So again, being successful and having an amazing life, not everyone has it. And trust me, it's not just about having money. It's about having choices, in my opinion. Having freedom of time, freedom to choose. Unfortunately, finances has a lot to do with that. Because if you don't have money, you can't choose the steak over the appetizers, right? So, but again, a high performance lifestyle, again, if you find value in this, share it with people in your office and your teams, etc. And in general, but every Tuesday morning, unless I'm somewhere else in the world and I don't have internet access, I won't be on, but 10 a.m. to 10:45, I'm more than happy to share some knowledge with you guys and do my best to just have a positive influence on your week. Cool? But thanks for jumping on, guys. Have a good day. See ya. And for all my guys that are in training, you guys just hang back.